Greetings, mind crafters, and welcome to another exciting discussion, another Minecraft discussion today on this glorious November day. It's been hailing and doing what they call wintry mix, which is funny in northern Vermont because that's sort of a nice way to say, like drizzle, complete slushy duty weather. But I kind of like it because it feels very contemplative to me. Anyway, so my name is Kimberly Quinn, and I'm super stoked to have this chat with you on gratitude as a windshield wiper. And we had this, we were talking about this before. I write for Psychology Today, which has been loads of fun. It's been, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 years now. And I've been on a Psych Today, a PT Jag, because some of these articles that are written. I think was just last year, maybe 2 years ago. Doesn't matter, because it's so timely for the holidays. So it's on gratitude as a windshield wiper. Gratitude as a windshield wiper. And I think I mentioned to you that the Psych Today editing crew changed the format a little bit, which I think is good because now they have us doing three. Well, you can do. I think you can do up to four, but at least three key points to start out the article, which I think is nice because then it's a life minute saver, right? Life seconds saver because you know pretty quickly after you read three bullet points if you're going to be interested in it or not, probably. So I think that was probably a good decision. But so the three key points. I forgot what the okay, here it is. Gratitude is like a windshield wiper. How gratitude can clear away the slush and grime of life with a swipe. And so the points I chose for this really do sum it up well, to be truthful. So the first one is that cultivating gratitude sort of offers us protection against the disease of wanting, especially during the holiday season. And that is a very big deal in the States anyway. We've got that going on during Christmas. We also talked about that because it's just not quite the same case with Hanukkah. It doesn't seem anyway. We've never celebrated Hanukkah. We have Jewish friends, and our Jewish friends tell us that though they enjoy Hanukkah and really like Hanukkah, it's about the lights and the menorah, and they give gifts to each other and things over the 8 days, but that it's not their major holiday. At least this is what our friends say. They say Yom Kippur and Rosh Hashanah are sort of more important to them. And also, just for some reason, the Christmas season is just heavily marketed. Not only toys and all this stuff that adults like to purchase for ourselves, but also family is marketed. Family is definitely marketed. Airbrushed pictures of the ideal Thanksgiving, the ideal Christmas, maybe the ideal Hanukkah. Just and making and it just really it's not a big surprise that rates of anxiety and depression and suicide actually go through the ceiling during during December main. Well, I shouldn't say during just December. I think the end of November with Thanksgiving is we're going to throw that in there too as the holiday season. So anyway, so number one is cultivating gratitude protects us against the disease of wanting, and then the second one is daily gratitude practice. Daily gratitude practice leads to the Tetris effect, creating brain patterns leading to automatic positive thinking. So I'm going to get into that, sticking with the points that I wrote in this article, but just elaborating because this is something that it's so important. I can't even, it's so important. I talk about it with my Minecrafters every single Minecraft semester because it's extremely important. We'll get to that. And the third one is the brain is like a rambunctious toddler and needs consistency and follow through for any positive behavioral changes to be made. I have to tell you, it's also fun for me to revisit these articles when they're timely. I have a whole slew that I wrote during the pandemic that are thankfully outdated now because we don't want to revisit that. I mean, not that there's not some residual stuff that we'll be dealing with for quite a while to come, but some of them were like right in March of 2020, and those are all fine and dandy. But I probably wouldn't really be discussing those anymore versus a gratitude one. And there's so much out there in gratitude right now anyway, yet very little of this shines a light on the very real life-changing component that gratitude has. I'm talking about the actual brain changes, and I know I've mentioned the last, at least last episode, maybe the last two, because we've been talking about sort of the neuroscience that's underneath, because that is a pet peeve I have when influencers use neuroscience as a buzzword, and then you're waiting because that's the whole point, right? They want to hook you so you listen to the rest of what they're having to say. Not that there's one in particular that I think of each time I say this, and that she has good things to say. She does nuggets, but when she says based on neuroscience and it's all fake news, that's kind of a little bit annoying, because it's deceiving. So anyway, so it seems that I wrote in here that it seems that gratitude is largely thought of as something touchy feely. That's what we're saying, rather than a skill we can practice and get better at, and based in neuroscience. But gratitude is a skill set, and I've also talked about that because personally, as much as we love talent, I love talent. I'm more of a skills set admirer, and of course, having both together is the ideal recipe. I like skills because talent you're born with. It's like poker hands that you're dealt, right? It's genetics, and it's also people around you who nurture those talents when you're little. And I'm thinking of like Michael Phelps. He's tall, he's got the reach. His mother brought him to the pools early on. If you had all that talent but didn't have anybody notice, da da da, but you got the talent. The talent's amazing. The Mozarts, the Beethovens, the Mary Lou Rettons, the Nadia Comaneci's. There's just so many. You could go on and on, right? Though the God-given talent is very cool, and we're all in awe when we watch them do their thing. Skills are cool. I think skills are really, really, really cool. Of course, you both of them you need to still work at talents or no, right? But with the skill set, I like because we can look at somebody that they're more positive than we are, more whatever, whatever. We're not saying we want to be them. No, we want to be us, the best version of us. Though when somebody's further down the path with something, maybe a positive mindset, growth mindset, right? There's a kind of one and the same. And, more confident than we are, more whatever than we are. They have a better fitness regimen than we are. It's nice that we can emulate the tricks and tips that they're doing and get better at it. That's what I really like about skill sets. And so I have here that gratitude is a workout routine, just like going to the gym, only it's far less time consuming, actually. When we exercise, just like any other muscle, right? When we exercise our gratitude muscle, it gets stronger. So when we think of gratitude as a windshield wiper, we think of, and actually this is the idea, this is a great day for it. Sitting here with all of you in my living room, because I do feel we're just having this lovely conversation with all of you in my living room. Um, it's a wintry mix day, right? It's got the slushy, wants to be snow, not sure yet kind of stuff. And picture that gratitude windshield wiper just swish, swish, swishing all the rain, slush, and grime away that would otherwise cloud our vision. And I did cite somebody here by the name of Preston 2021. If you want any of that, go into Psychology Today. You can look up my name and gratitude as a windshield wiper, and you can get all the deets on the citation. So and then I say, when we wake up and think about what our day looks like, right? We wake up and think about what our day looks like. It's a good thing is I can't plagiarize myself as far as I know. But anyway, our internal dialogue may be something like, I've got back to back meetings all day, no time for lunch. I'm behind on this, that, and the other thing. It's going to be a really long day. Well, of course, if we decide that, of course, that's going to turn out that way, right? We can prime our day in a positive way or a negative way. But then I say, then when we invite is a great word. I love the word. When we invite gratitude into our day with, I am grateful for my health, my family, and my job, even though it can be challenging at times. Silently, we realize that there are many people without these things who would trade places with us in a New York second. It's so true. We can be whining and whining and whining about work and this one and that crankpot or this power hungry manager. who doesn't have any leadership skills, who's just causing all kinds of distress or whatever, whatever, whatever. When that's none of that's okay. We're not saying that. And then, you have a good friend who maybe has all kinds of, in addition to losing their job, like they get the pink slip, right? And then, they've got a partner and kids and a mortgage and all that stuff. And then it puts a little new perspective. Again, we're not saying minimizing, especially the power hungry person, but maybe it's just other stuff like you're sick of the commute and whine, whine, whine. When that person would gladly do your commute to have a paycheck coming in, right? So think of the gratitude windshield wiper going swish, swish, swish. The gratitude wiper gently moves aside the grime, and we can see clearly once again. Okay, so we brought up the disease of wanting, and now we can kind of just touch on, what it does for anxiety, because the fact is, anxiety can't exist with gratitude simultaneously in the mind and heart because the mind can only think of one thing at a time. That whole thing about multitasking is a myth. It's really a quick shift in attention. The brain can focus on exactly one thing at a time. So I get into, we can also get caught up with anxious what if thinking, catastrophizing, which is, of course, that worst case scenario thinking, as well as self deprecating rumination about on our past mistakes and the many ways we are not enough. So it's really important to to realize what gratitude also does for mental health wise. It obviously, we know gratitude is good for mental health. The whole world knows it's good for our mental health. I just don't know if people realize the neuroscience behind it, in that the brain can only think of one thing, can only focus on one thing at a time. That's true. So again, because we are able to shift our attention so quickly, it can look like we're multitasking, but in reality we are not. So if we're thinking grateful thoughts, we're going to feel grateful, because that's how it works, right? Thoughts come first, feelings second, actions or behaviors last. So it is also, that said, we're thinking grateful thoughts, we're going to feel grateful. That's 100% accurate. At the same time, um, we it's neurologically impossible to feel anxious unless we think anxious thoughts first. We have to think the thoughts because the thoughts create the feelings. There are no feelings if the thoughts aren't there to create them. That's just a neurological or neuropsychological fact. Okay, so then I get into, especially at this time of year, shiny objects. Oh, I love shiny objects. Shiny objects seem to appear everywhere, reminding us of what we don't have and how we fall short. All the pop up ads, television commercials, and fancy store windows can seduce us into shifting from a place of contentment to a place of lack. We gradually get sucked into the disease of wanting. Um, so then, so then, this is sort of brings up the point of how we're kind of residing in lack, which obviously comes from the scarcity mindset. All that, the ways we're deprived, the ways we're not enough, don't either we aren't either we're not enough, we don't have enough, deprived, deprived, deprived. That's all the scarcity mindset, right? So this state of dis-ease pulls us further and further away from happiness and authentic joy. Just pushes it right off the edge of the horizon. So the reason for this is because like attracts like, just as birds of a feather flock together. And here's the thing, here's another one. Misery loves company. I say that to my Minecrafters constantly. That's okay. It's such a myth. It's just not true at all, because it's not that misery loves company. Misery loves miserable company. Like attracts like. Lack attracts more lack. Abundance attracts more abundance. This is how it works. So, when we keep our gratitude wiper blades, clean and sharp, the anxious thoughts are pushed aside as we acknowledge all that is going right for us. Oh, I love that. All that is working in our lives. So, um, we have our eyesight, we know our legs work, and if nothing else, we're breathing. Think of the alternative. And I'll tell you a thing I do in the morning every day. And part of this I give credit to John Kabat-Zinn, to just take a minute to just mindfully lay in bed. I mean, if you're late, one more minute isn't gonna matter. And we're blessed enough to have this gorgeous bay window with a gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous view that faces also the sunrise, which is very, very um, cool. And I say before I get up, I say thank you when I look out the window for all this stuff, my eyesight, and then my eyesight that I'm able to look at that beautiful, beautiful gorgeous scenery outside my window. To start the day in that way. Then when I swing around, I say thank you when my feet touch the floor, and I don't say all these things. I just say thank you and I say thank you again. But I'm saying thinking eyesight with the first one. I'm thinking my spine's intact, feet, legs, arms, all of it. Again, just thank you. But and then breathing. Think of the alternative. Wow, So when we write down three things we are grateful for each day, we shift into a mindset of abundance. So I actually have my gratitude journal sitting right next to me, and I keep it right on my. It has two spots: my windowsill or the coffee table right next to where I'm sitting at this minute, and I have to walk past the windowsill to get out of the bedroom to start the day so I don't forget ever, ever, ever. So I write in my gratitude journal each day and with just three quick one-liners. And also my Minecraft persons, my Minecraft students, that's what I wanted to say there. My Minecrafters, there we go. My in-person Minecrafters also do a gratitude journal every day of the week, all 7 days, not just class days, because of what it does for us, which I'm going to get to in a second. So this literally takes less than 2 minutes. When I put my tea in the microwave in the morning, I'm done writing my three things with the words I am grateful for. That's essential. And I'm done with the three things before my tea beeps in the microwave. For reals, that's truth. So the words I am grateful for are essential because the brain, in order for the brain changes to take place, we need to provide very crystal clear guidance for the new neurons as far as what to do. Because the brain is very, very, very much like just like a rambunctious 2 year old or a rambunctious toddler, and it needs consistency. Just like we're constantly redirecting a 2 or 3 year old this way, no, not that way, no, 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 this way, yes, this, okay, that was good, da 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 da. It needs consistency in order for the desired behavior to change. And then after about 21 days, this is the average amount of time it takes a habit to shift and stick, you will begin to notice changes in how you see your world. And I've got to give credit to Charles Duhigg for that. It says 2012. I'm sure that's right. The Power of Habit is the book he wrote. And I bring this up with my Minecrafters too, because and obviously 21 days is an average because shifting a habit, to walk 15 minutes a day, do 5 sit-ups, or eat a piece of fruit is not exactly the same thing as quitting smoking, which involves neurotransmitters and all that sort of thing. But it is roughly 3 weeks. And I'll tell you that once my Minecrafters are deep into their gratitude journals, I go around and do a check about 3 weeks later to see how they're doing with it. And I usually have at least, I don't know, just a handful say, oh my gosh, professor, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. I'm starting to see the positive in my day without even thinking about it. And they're coming along and you watch them authentically share with their big eyes. Wow, this really works. This is a brain thing. Say, yes, it is. It's a brain thing. It is a brain thing based in neuroscience. Thank you very much. Because the brain, when we redirect it by the I am grateful for, instead of just my dog, my tea, my partner, we're saying I am grateful for my dog, I am grateful for my tea, I'm grateful for my partner. You need the I am grateful for. Those four words are super important. So this is creating a new pattern of positivity, wiring this into the brain, saying no, not that way, to the negative path. It's like, nope, we're going this way now towards positivity. So this change that happens where my students are able to actually see a change is called the Tetris effect, which begins to take over. It was first discovered with a video game called Tetris. Some of you may know of it, where it involves shapes and like sort of placing shapes, geometric shapes, and they're colorful into specific patterns. And as these patterns in general are catnip for the brain. The brain loves patterns, whether positive, negative, or anywhere in between. And it doesn't take much for the brain to catch on and continue to do this on its own. So that can work in a negative way for sure by, reinforcing negative patterns, and it can work in a positive way like we said with a gratitude journal. And so I also do give credit to Sean Aker because his book, The Happiness Advantage, I would strongly suggest getting it. I use it from my Minecraft class, and the Tetris, he discusses the Tetris effect in there. So it's been found when people play this video game with the colorful shapes and putting them in their places, that you can play this game for as little as 15 minutes and experience the Tetris effect. So they found that when people play this game, even for as little as 15 minutes, they would walk into a grocery store or convenience store, and they would look around, and they would want to, visually reorganize, let's say, the cereal boxes into a different order based on color and shape and size and all that. So think about what a huge discovery this is, because we know that thoughts come first and these lead to feelings and then behavior. So therefore, the thoughts we allow into our minds form the patterns which dictate our lives. So there was a negative instance also that was researched with the Tetris effect. Again, the gratitude journal is a positive way, but research was done. I'm pretty sure Sean Aker discusses this in his book with accountants, and because accountants, of course, are looking for mistakes and problems all day long, errors. They're on the mad hunt for errors, especially in April during tax season. So they found with accountants that they were developing patterns. Their brains were automatically developing patterns for mistake looking and error finding. And so when accountants went home to their partners and kids and friends and roommates, that they took this, when they were hunting for errors in numbers and taxes and things, they transferred that to looking for errors in their lives and mistakes and things that weren't going well with their partners and kids and roommates and friends, looking for things that had gone wrong. And I actually had a student in my Minecraft class who was a senior one year when we talked about this. And she sat in the back going, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, that's me. I didn't even realize it, because she was an accountant and she was doing an internship like 2 or 3 full days a week. And she said that is so true. And she was we all laughed with her, and I love that she was so honest. She said, "Oh my God, this could not be true." Or because I go home, I'm looking for this, and this isn't right, and that's not right, and I have enough money, or whatever it is, just looking for the errors. And so the Tetris effect is a real thing, positive or negative. In fact, in addition to the Tetris effect in the positive sense, with the I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for, and making, paving the way for positivity with these daily 1, 2, 3, gratitudes. Something also cool that's happening while we're doing this is something called neural pruning. So that goes back to if you don't use it, you lose it, right? Which isn't good if it's high school Spanish, because you don't want to lose your high school Spanish, or if you played the piano as a kid and now you haven't done it for years and years and you don't remember. But it can have a good, positive aspect to it with what we're talking about, because while we're building the I am grateful for, I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for positive pathway, while we are, slowly not using the old negative pathway, the brain begins to prune that, just like you would prune, like in April, in springtime, you prune the dead stuff off the bushes to make room for new growth. And that's worth mentioning too, because it's a win-win situation. Okay, so then what else do I say here? This is why it is of utmost importance to exercise our gratitude muscle and keep your gratitude wipers clean and sharp. In fact, in addition to the Tetris effect in the positive sense, with the I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for, and making, paving the way for positivity with these daily 1, 2, 3, gratitudes. Something also cool that's happening while we're doing this is something called neural pruning. So that goes back to if you don't use it, you lose it, right? Which isn't good if it's high school Spanish, because you don't want to lose your high school Spanish, or if you played the piano as a kid and now you haven't done it for years and years and you don't remember. But it can have a good, positive aspect to it with what we're talking about, because while we're building the I am grateful for, I'm grateful for, I'm grateful for positive pathway, while we are, slowly not using the old negative pathway, the brain begins to prune that, just like you would prune, like in April, in the springtime, you prune the dead stuff off the bushes to make room for new growth. And that's worth mentioning too, because it's a win-win situation. Okay, so then what else do I say here? This is why it is of utmost importance to exercise our gratitude muscle and keep your gratitude wipers clean and sharp. So my apologies for that. That was our sweet little Giovanni, who's back to napping now, protecting us from somebody driving by. He did a great job, batting 1,000. Haven't had any prowlers yet. And also, I lost my train a little bit here, so we'll just say this is why it is of utmost importance to exercise our gratitude muscle and to keep our wipers, right, our gratitude wipers clean and sharp, because otherwise, think about an actual windshield. We're going to have filmy windshields that cloud our vision. Think of the metaphor for that. Cloud our vision as far as taking in the information of the day. All this potential positive we're not seeing because we're clouded over with crap and crud, right? So, in addition, when we are not actively being grateful for all that we have, it doesn't make any sense that we will be given more, like more abundance, right? Because it's, it, it's like saying, like the universe saying, "What's that? You want more? You can't even handle all the good things I just gave you, right? I've already given you all kinds of stuff. Let's hold off on that for now." Or, if somebody, let's say, surprised you with this beautiful birthday present, they thought of you, maybe they were traveling and it's some handmade something from an island somewhere, something like that. They walk in and you take it, and it's wrapped beautifully, gorgeous paper, big bow. And you say, "Oh, thanks." And you set it down, and I'll get to it later. Why don't we go get some lunch? I mean, I wouldn't count on a present from that person anytime soon, right? Because you didn't even open it and appreciate it. So same kind of thing, because abundance attracts more abundance, just like lack attracts lack. So we want to be grateful for every little breadcrumb that comes our way, every little breadcrumb. Okay, so there we go. Abundance attracts more abundance. Oh, we also need to shake any abundance guilt we may have, as accepting more and more good things into our lives does not take away from anyone else, right? I've used the whole pizza analogy before, that the universal abundance isn't like pizza, where if let's say there are 12 people at a lunch and there's only two pizzas and everybody had one, but only a few people had two. You don't go grab a third slice because that would be like rude, right? Obnoxious, even without checking if everybody had one. Well, that's not the case with the abundance out in the world. There are infinite pieces of pizza because there are infinite pizzas. And all the abundance in the world doesn't take away from anybody else. It just does not. All right, so I wind up this article here. I say, just like the benefits of brushing your teeth in the morning, a daily gratitude routine can become a habit that supports lifelong emotional hygiene, and it doesn't take any more time. All right, thank you so much for listening. Know that I thoroughly enjoyed uh, just having you listening and being in my living room with me to do this podcast. With little Giovanni here, I got a fire crackling away. What a pleasant experience. So, all right, thank you so much and have a very mindful day.